We are talking today about how to quiet your mind so you can actually cope with all of the noise that step family life throws at you on the daily. I'm Cameron. I spent years building my career and creating a life I loved. And when my Prince Charming finally showed up, he had 4 kids in tow. Fast forward through lots of mistakes made and lessons learned, step family life was much more complicated than I realized. If you're looking for help with blended family life, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Stepmom Diaries, where we keep it real as we dish about all the things. This is your weekly dose of blended family inspiration and encouragement. You're not the wicked stepmother, so let me help you find your fairy tale ending. Come on, let's do this. Welcome, welcome. I am so excited about today's guest. She was a speaker a couple of weeks ago at the Stepmom Summit, and she is someone who I have known through a business mastermind that we are both in and have gotten to know. And she's a therapist with years of experience and is just so wise and so much good advice for stepmoms. She is in Texas. She is a mom of 5. She focuses on helping high-achieving, overwhelmed moms break free from the cycle of stress and self-doubt so that they can feel confident, calm, and in control again. Kristen Kogan is super down-to-earth and empowers all women to stop surviving and start thriving on their terms. We have a great discussion for you today. We talk all about some mindfulness techniques and some ways, as stepmoms, our lives are so noisy and so busy and so fast-paced. And Kristen and I are going to talk about some ways that we can kind of slow ourselves down a little bit and make ourselves be a little bit kinder to ourselves, which is something I think we all as women, but also as stepmoms, have a hard time with. So I think you'll enjoy this discussion. So with that, let's dive right in. Kristen, I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. This is going to be fun.
Yes. So I always ask my stepmom guests what their stepmom origin story is. You are not a stepmom, but you have worked with a lot of them. But tell me your family background, because you also have you've got 5 kids, and I feel like tell me your story. How did you get involved?
So I'm a mom of 5. I grew up in Houston, Texas, pretty much have lived here my whole life. And I had one sister growing up. And I married a man also from Houston who's been here his whole life, that he was one of 6 kids.
Oh my gosh. So y'all have a huge family.
Yes. So a lot of extended family, right? And it was always so fun going to his house for holidays or just Sunday dinners or everything, because there was just so much going on, so many things to talk about, so many people to see. It was always very quiet at my house because it was just my sister and I. And so I think that was one of the reasons that led us to having so many kids of our own. So yeah, we had 4 kids in 4 years. And then 4 years later, we had Charlotte, our little blessing, surprise blessing.
I love it.
Yeah. So my kids range in age from 6 to 14. So we have one in kindergarten and one just started high school.
So you're getting close to having a driver. That's the big game changer with a bunch of kids, I feel like.
Yeah. It's scary, but I think it'll be helpful at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I remember because my husband's got 4 kids, and when the first one started driving, it was everything changed, in the best way.
Right.
Oh, I love it. So tell me how you got into doing this. You're a therapist. Tell me how you decided to embark on this work and how you decided to start working with moms.
Yeah. So for the longest time, I worked in the schools with mostly teenagers, mostly high school, some middle school kids. I did that for 15 years and really kind of just got burnt out working as a school psychologist. And COVID hit. And so then I was at home, I had a new baby, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to go back in the schools. Like, it was kind of a good excuse to get out of it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't plan on doing anything for a little bit. I was like, I'm just going to stay home and be a mom. That didn't last very long because I get bored easily. And I was like, I need something else like to fill my cup. And I had the opportunity to open my own private practice. It just kind of fell in my lap. And I was like, okay, well, I've always kind of wanted to do this, but I've been too scared. I'll give it a try. And so I opened my practice. I started working with teens because that's what I knew. And I also knew it was going to be like an easy clientele to just like get in quickly because parents are always looking for people to work with their teens.
Totally.
So I did that. And but then I had a few moms start coming to see me. And I really felt like the calling to work with the moms. And I think it was eye-opening because I realized I wasn't the only one that had these struggles as a mom. You know, like I felt lonely when I was drowning with 4 kids under 4 and didn't know what to do and couldn't keep my cool. And I would yell and then I'd feel guilty. And it was like this vicious cycle. And then I saw like, oh, these other moms, they have the same experience. So then it really became a passion where I was like, I want to share this. So that's why I started my Instagram, to share this with other moms so that we don't feel so alone out there and be like, you're not the only one yelling at your kids. You're not the only one in this guilt cycle. And it's just been like this really beautiful journey.
It is so hard because there's so much pressure on moms and the mental load is real, right? Like,
Yes.
we are expected to do so much. And like, of course we're going to burn out, but yet society kind of tells us we're not supposed to. We're supposed to be able to work full time and, handle the mental load of all the stuff at home. And stepmoms, the ladies listening to this know exactly what we're talking about because they have it in spades. They're working full time, they're coming home, they're bearing the mental load of parenting, but without getting any of the credit for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the struggle really is, it's cliche, but the struggle is real,
It is for sure.
So how do we know when we're getting burned out? Because I think that so many of us feel it, but we don't really know, like, is this burnout? Am I just tired? Like, surely I should be able to handle this. Is like shoulding all over ourselves, but I should be able to handle this. Like, what are the feelings that we should be looking for?
Yeah. Like some of the signs are, if you start snapping at the kids over like little things more often than you usually do, feeling that resentment towards your partner or even your family or even these kids, like, having that and then being like, oh, that feels gross that I'm resentful of my family. Feeling constantly exhausted, even if you've had a good night's sleep, which is hard because we all run ourselves ragged anyway.
Totally.
And so really being mindful of like, is it because I'm not sleeping well? Or is it like a lifestyle thing? Or is it burnout, right? Also losing interest in things that you used to love to do. And just feeling like you're on that hamster wheel where you're just surviving and you're not actually living. You're just going through the motions every day. And yeah, that's a big sign.
Can we talk about sleep for a minute? I feel like so many people, so many women in their late 30s and 40s don't sleep, myself included. Like I used to sleep like a rock. I had no problem going to sleep. I had no problem getting up. No big deal. Could sleep. I still can sleep anywhere. Like I love a good flight or a train ride. Like I'm out. My husband makes fun of me because I will literally fall asleep in the car on the way from here to dinner, like I can fall asleep anywhere, but I can't stay asleep. And I think that's so common. I know so many women in their 40s who the sleep thing, and is that burnout? Is that our age and hormones? Like I feel like there's a sleep epidemic.
I think there is. I think it's like a combo. I think part of it's like perimenopause, menopause, like hello. And then part of it's stress. And you have like the rising cortisol levels, which apparently wake you up at 3 a.m. So it's really important to have good sleep hygiene and like really get into a good routine. Moms are notorious for once everyone goes to sleep, we're like, I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight. And then instead, you're watching Netflix or scrolling on your phone or just enjoying some quiet. Yeah. It's like the worst thing you can do.
Yeah. So what does a good sleep hygiene routine look like?
So having like some kind of routine every evening that kind of signals to your body that you're winding down for the night. So this could be like getting your pajamas on, doing your skincare, getting in bed, reading a book for a little bit, trying to stay away from
the phone,
trying to stay away from the phone or the iPad, because the blue light's bad for you. And just
what about Kindle?
I think Kindles are okay because it's like a different type of light.
Okay.
Yeah. So I read on my Kindle at night and it doesn't seem to affect me. And really just like telling yourself, okay, I'm going to go to bed at 10 or 11 or whatever the time is, and really sticking to that. And also like if it is one of those nights where you can't fall asleep or you wake up and you can't get back to sleep, getting out of bed for a little bit and going to do something else until you feel tired, and then getting back in bed can be really helpful.
Really? See, okay, that's definitely the opposite of what I would be inclined to do, right? Because I would think that would just wake me up and keep me up. Right. That will make me more tired.
Well, I think sometimes when you're in bed, your mind just starts spinning, right? And you're like, well, I want to sleep, but I can't sleep. And you get in this cycle. So it's helpful to kind of like take your mind off of it for a little bit and come back. That. Also, just telling yourself, I'm going to be able to sleep great tonight, or I'm going to be able to fall back asleep easily can be helpful.
Yeah. I assume mantras are good for all kinds of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So give us some good mantras.
My favorite is, I know this is hard, but this will pass.
That's good. Stepmoms, are you listening?
Yes.
I know this is hard, but it will pass.
Exactly. What are some other ones that I love? Just like being gentle with yourself and just saying like, I'm doing the best I can. Recognizing like in the moment you are doing everything you can. God, give me patience. I say that all the time.
Yeah. It's so important because I think that as stepmoms, we're so hard on ourselves and we beat ourselves up for not being perfect, right? Like we slide into this family and expect that like we're going to be throwing the Pinterest perfect birthday parties and have this great relationship with the kids, and the ex is going to like us even though she's high conflict, and all the things that just aren't necessarily realistic, but we don't know they're not realistic until we're like so far into it that, you're knee deep in all the muck. But we are then really hard on ourselves because somehow we're not making it work. And I love that you said, be kind to yourself, because I think that's really hard for us as stepmoms, but also as women. We're not very kind to ourselves.
No, self-compassion is probably the hardest thing for women to do in general. And it's one of the things that can be the most beneficial to you, because you wouldn't talk to your friend or your daughter or your sister the way you talk to yourself.
Never. Yeah. Never. Is that a good, like, how can we catch ourselves in the moment when we're beating ourselves up and like, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I wish I had done that. How can we catch ourselves in the moment, and what can we say to reframe that?
Right. So sometimes it's hard to catch yourself in the moment, but once you do, it doesn't matter how long the spiral goes. It's okay. Once you catch it, then take that opportunity to be like, oh, I'm being a little harsh on myself right now. And then ask yourself, like, what would I say to my friend? What would I say to my sister? And then say that to yourself. And even like put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, and say those kind things to yourself.
I love that. And it feels a little woo-woo. And I bet that it feels weird like the first time you do it, but then I bet it's so comforting.
The more you do it, the more comfortable it becomes, the more like routine it becomes, the better you get at catching yourself when you're in those spirals. That's why like meditation can be really helpful, because it's training your brain to catch yourself when it wanders back and bring it back to the present. And so that's helpful in these spots. Like if you're a person that goes on thought spirals, it can be really helpful to bring you back to the present.
Yeah. Meditation always scared me, like until probably like 5 or 10 years ago. because I thought, gosh, just sitting in silence, I can't do that. Like my mind. But really, meditation, you don't have to sit in silence. You can do like the guided meditations where they sort of direct, like whoever's leading it directs your thoughts and helps you not go into some of those spirals and stuff.
Right. Yeah. When I think a lot of people think like, oh, I have to have this blank slate in my mind and I can't think of anything. And really our purpose for doing meditation is really to be present in the moment without judgment. And so you're training your brain, like I said. So if you're, say you're doing a guided meditation on your breath as you're just following your breath in and out. Very simple to do, but your mind's going to wander at some point, right? And so once you catch your mind wandering, you just bring your mind back to the breath. And that's how it trains your brain to come back. So that when you're in a conversation with someone, you're not thinking about the things you need to do after this. Like, I'm sure you have a full day today. And so we often are thinking like, okay, I need to get through this so I can do the next thing, right? Or you're thinking about, ooh, I don't like what I just said. How can I fix that? Or did I sound stupid? So it's really teaching you how to be present and in the moment, because that's where life happens. It happens in the present.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we forget that. We forget life happens in the small moments, in the present moments, the day-to-day stuff that isn't always so glamorous.
That's so true. And I feel like that even applies to just how we interact with each other, because how often are you in a conversation with somebody and you realize you're not even listening to what they're saying. You're just thinking about what you're going to say next. And then like you have this whole conversation and you haven't been present for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We live in a society where no one's like present.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What about, so I love all of this. I think one of the things that I hear, and that one of the things that I used to say all the time is like, well, that's all well and good. I don't have time for that stuff. Like I am so busy and, my career is so busy and I have meetings from morning to dusk. Like I can't fit this stuff in. What do you say to somebody who feels like they don't have time to make time for this?
Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Like moms are the worst at saying that, like, well, I've got all this other stuff to do. I can't possibly make time for myself. Definitely can't fit in therapy or something that takes an hour, right? There's no way. But the truth is you're already spending so much time like on the fallout of burnout, the arguments, the tears, the exhaustion, the mom guilt. Like how much time do you spend just beating yourself up every day? That really taking the time to take care of yourself, whether that's through breath work or going for a walk or doing therapy or coaching, all of that stuff is going to benefit you in the long run because it's going to allow you to show up more present, more calm, with more clarity. You'll be more in control. You don't need massive chunks of time to like make progress either. You can, healing can happen in tiny moments throughout your day. You just have to tend to them.
And does that apply? Like, I know that there are a lot of stepmoms that listen who are dealing with a high conflict ex, and they feel a lot of times like they wake up in the morning and there's this like cloud of toxicity hanging over them because they've got, a court battle or a custody fight or, a long, nasty text has come in overnight, or there are sort of these external factors that are making things really heavy for them.
Mm-hmm.
How to navigate some of that stuff when not only you feel like you don't have time, but also just everything feels so heavy. Like it feels like you can't get your mind out of some of that stuff.
Yeah. Part of it is just remembering it's a choice, which sounds so simple. And I tell my kids every day, because they'll wake up all grumpy and like, I don't want to go to school or I don't want to do this. Right. And it really is a choice, like how you show up, and you get the choice to, show up as a positive, happy person or as the grumpy person that doesn't want to do anything and take on that weight of all the external things. And so, yeah, you might have like the ex-wife that's, really nasty to you, but you can choose to be like, that's her problem. That's not about me, and choose to live a lighter lifestyle.
And that's like the one thing you really have control over, right? Like there's so much in step family life that you can't control with the ex, and you can control
Yeah,
whether that dark cloud gets into your head.
exactly. You can always choose your thoughts. I mean, thoughts come in, but you can always choose which ones you're going to let guide you.
Yeah. I like that framing. You can, because they do sneak in, and you know, it is hard when you have some major something going on. But I like that, you can kind of choose what you're going to let guide you.
Right. Because all we're doing is choosing those to like let those yucky ones stick. So
Yeah.
why not choose to let those go and choose something more powerful to stick?
So for the stepmom who's waking up with like feeling that the next shoe is going to drop and the cloud of funk is just not going to go away, what does she do first thing in the morning? What would you recommend for her? What can she build into her daily routine?
Yeah. At first, like when you have that thought come in, acknowledge it. There's a saying in therapy, like you have to name it to tame it. So first you just want to acknowledge that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm having this thought that today's going to be hard because of this email I got or whatever it is. And then the second thing is just, taking a minute, again, putting your hand on your chest. I love doing that. It's just one of those ways to connect. Putting your hand on your chest, taking a deep breath in, exhaling slowly, and saying to yourself, I'm safe. I'm doing enough. And just remember that, it's these small moments that can help shift your nervous system throughout the day, so that you don't carry all that heavy weight with you.
I love that. I'm safe and I'm doing enough, because I think those are two things that stepmoms have a hard time with when those emotions come in, is that they might be physically safe, but they don't necessarily feel emotionally safe. So I like
Right. Yeah.
I'm
They're in
safe.
fight or fight.
Yeah. 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 I like that. I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
And once you get good at doing that, of just like taking a moment to yourself and saying, I'm safe and I'm doing enough, you can add on just like being curious with yourself and asking yourself, what do I need in this moment? Like, what would make me feel 1% better right now? And go do that thing. Oftentimes we're trying to like make ourselves feel 100% better, and that's almost impossible.
Yes, I was just going to say I love that, because I think that we're looking for like the quick fix, right? And I have stepmoms that come to me all the time that they're like, I need something that's going to make this better, and I'm like, first of all, like the situation's not going to get better because you're dealing with people you can't control. How you react to it is what we can work with, but you're not going to fix all that at once. So I like that. What is the 1% change I can make?
Yeah. And this is exactly where I remind my clients, like, slow is fast. What is it? Now I just forgot it. Slow is fast, simple is powerful, and small is big.
Oh, I like that. Will you repeat that?
Yes. Slow is fast, simple is powerful, and small is big. Because you're right. We always want the quick fix.
Yeah.
And really you got to put in the time every day.
And taking that time and slowing things down can make a big difference, right? I mean, I feel like everything is so fast paced, and we've got to respond immediately and do immediately. And if we can kind of take that breath and
yeah, and just slowing down, like you said, like just slowing down your normal day. Like you don't have to do everything in the moment. You can take time to think about it, and just allowing yourself to slow down helps your nervous system feel calmer because you're just slowing everything down.
Okay, I'm also curious, because I know you do work with EMDR and brain spotting, which people listening may be like, I don't know what that is, but I am, I'm in grad school right now for my counseling degree, and that's something that we have started to learn just a little bit about. But I'm super curious, like, how did you get into those therapies? And tell our listeners what they are and who they're a good fit for and what you do with them.
Yeah. So I kind of got into it, just realizing these moms that were coming to see me, they didn't realize that they had what we call in therapy little T traumas, like maybe they were criticized as a child, or they weren't allowed to express their emotions and things like that. this stuff shows up today. And a lot of times really starts to show up as when you have your own children and they're triggering you. So I was like, how can I help these moms? And so I started researching, and I discovered EMDR and brain spotting, which are both trauma focused therapies. And they're both powerful ways of like helping your brain and your body process stuck memories or overwhelming experiences. So what happens like when you're younger or you experience some kind of trauma is your nervous system tries to handle it the best it can, and it stores it away in that way. And so like, if it was a trauma that you weren't expecting, like sometimes that feeling still gets stuck in your body because it's been misfiled like maladaptively in your brain. And so there are therapies that you can do that help you actually process what happened in that moment so that it can be filed away in an adaptive manner, like anything else you do in your life. So that when something triggers you today, you're not like all of a sudden taken back and reliving that moment. So EMDR uses eye movements or tapping to help the brain reprocess trauma so it no longer feels as raw or triggering. And it doesn't take away the memory. It just takes like the sting out of it. So you'll remember what happened, but it won't be like you're actually reliving the memory. And brain spotting helps locate where the trauma is stuck in your body and gently like process it through focused attention on what we call like a gaze spot. So we find a certain spot and you stare on that, and we process that way. It sounds a little woo, but it's pretty freaking amazing.
But I know like EMDR has been really helpful for PTSD with veterans. I know.
Yes, exactly. It's really great for complex trauma. But it's also great for like the little things, like those everyday experiences, like I said, being criticized as a child, feeling left out, going through a tough breakup, and just like the everyday stress of motherhood. All of that can also get stored in a maladaptive way in the nervous system. And so we just want to like help smooth that out so that your body's not always responding. Because you might know rationally, like I'm safe, right? I'm not being chased by a lion.
Right.
But for some reason, your body thinks you are being chased by a lion. And so we have to teach it that it's safe.
Yeah. That's exactly why, one of the first things I ask clients when they come to me is whether they're in therapy. And if they're not, I always encourage them to do that while they work with me, because I think it is such a powerful combination to be able to deal with some of these past traumas, which I do not do. I mean, I'm coaching is, very focused on the present and, finding some tools and strategies to deal with dynamics that you've got going on right now. And therapy can help, with some of this childhood stuff and resolving it so that you're in a healthy place to be able to tackle that stuff. And I just find that I don't know, I'd love your thoughts on the coaching and therapy. I have found they've been a really lovely combination because of some of the stuff that you're talking about in terms of dealing with the little T traumas, because the stepmoms that come to see me, like they're getting triggered by like all kinds of stuff.
Right. Because we want to get to the root, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's kind of like a dandelion, and like you can pull the dandelion out, right? And then later it's going to come back up because we didn't pull the root out, or a weed, same thing. We would need to prune our garden. Yeah. So both are effective. And I do love a combo of coaching and therapy. I think there's like this misconception that therapy only works on the past and coaching is for the present, though. I think like they both can explore that. The way I see it is that therapy is used when there's like a medical necessity.
Yes.
Things like trauma, anxiety, depression, things that need clinical treatment. And coaching can really focus on like the non-clinical everyday struggles. Where you don't necessarily have a diagnosis. But you're stuck in those patterns of feeling overwhelmed and needing support to grow.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And you're doing both, right?
I do both, yes. But mainly, even for my therapy clients, the clients that I see, most of them don't have a medical necessity, so to speak. Just that's who I choose to work with. But yes, I do both.
Yeah. Awesome. So I know you have got a freebie for folks, your 4 p.m. Lifeline. Tell us about that, and I'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, it's a resource that has some affirmations and some skills that you can try out and experiment to help you, learn different ways to regulate yourself so that you can be calmer. And for me, it was like 4 p.m. every day was like the hardest part of the day because
It
everything's
is like the worst time of the day, right?
Exactly. And that's where I found myself losing my cool the most. So it's things that you can do in the moment, like while your child's crying or the world's falling apart, that can help bring you back to center.
I love that. So, okay, guys, go to the show notes. I will link to Kristen's freebie there. And then let us know where everybody can find you. And I will link to your Instagram and your website and everything in the show notes as well.
Yeah, my website is imperfectlywonderful.com. And you can find me on Instagram at imperfectlywonderfulmotherhood.
Love that. Kristen, thank you so much. This is so great. Always love chatting with you, and this was so much fun.
It was great.
And I will put links in the show notes for everyone to find you, and we'll have to do this again.
Sounds good. Thanks, Cameron.
Thanks. That's it for this week. If you've enjoyed our chat, I hope you'll help spread the word. Share this episode with friends and head on over to wherever you listen to podcasts and leave me a review. And don't forget, for more great stepmom content, head on over to thiscustomlife.com and follow me on social media. Just search This Custom Life on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Until next time, you keep being you and know that we are in this together. See you here next week.